Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany Reacts Show. And on this show, we talk all things entertainment news and movie news. We do have some strike updates today. Some possible other new strike updates with IATSE coming next year and the visual effects workers. That's still a slowly moving story. We have a lot of Marvel news still after that explosive article yesterday in Variety. There's a whole lot more coming out from scoopers that feel like they know what the real deal is, so we're going to go through that. We have some plot details for Deadpool 3, possibly. A lot of stuff in this episode is just going to be a lot of rumors and speculation, so take a lot of what you hear in this episode with a grain of salt. But I do think there is some credence to a lot of what's going on out there, or being said, so we're going to talk about that. But how are you guys doing today? Hi, Ian? Hi, Some Person Skywalking. Hi, Prince. Hi, M. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Ian. Hi, Gly. Hi, Josh Loves Movies. Hi, Natanya. Hi, Nate. Hi, Reelin. Hi, Divine Olsen. Hi, Cheyenne. Hi, each and every one of you who shows up to my show every day. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Hi, Riaru. All right. So, let's just get into it because, again, as always, I don't know what happened, how suddenly, you guys can see my suitcase. Oops, forgot to move that. I don't know why for the last 2 weeks or so, there has just been nonstop news going on, but hey, for me, it's great. We're having very long live streams now because there's just a lot to go over, and even still today, I had to actually save some stuff for tomorrow because even for today, I was like, oh, this is still too much news. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving it. If they could keep the news up like this, that'd be great. Thank you. All right. Anyway, let's just get into it. So the first thing we are going to go to today is actually AI news because it relates to the strike news we're going to get to afterward, and then we'll get to the Marvel stuff later. So the reason I want to bring up AI stuff is because it's becoming a bigger and bigger nuisance for a lot of actors. Nicolas Cage has been one of the most recent actors to speak out against it. Do you guys remember in The Flash when he had that god-awful cameo where he looked so uncanny and so fake? Well, apparently, Nicolas Cage says he was only on that set for 3 hours, and he didn't even know about a giant spider scene. And if you guys know what the cameo is, it's Nicolas Cage as Superman fighting a giant spider. And Nicolas Cage didn't even know what he was fighting until he saw it in the movie. It was CGI, so they could de-age me and I'm fighting a spider. I didn't do any of that, so I don't know what happened there. So I don't even know what they must have done with him on set. He's like, everything I saw on that screen I didn't even do when I was on set, so obviously they used AI for a lot of this cameo. I mean, it's not surprising. He looked like crap and AI is not that good yet. So, I mean, even look at this picture. Look at this picture. This doesn't even look real. But the fact that they're already starting to studios, not even just commercials, and we're going to talk about that in a second with Scarlett Johansson, but studios are starting to use actors' likenesses using AI and not telling them how they're going to use it. That's crazy to me. This is literally like Black Mirror stuff, but happening in real life. Pretty crazy. It is flooded in. I like how all this news. I did see the Planet of the Apes trailer. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow, but not in this live stream. Hi, Prince. Oh, I know you're up so late. Thank you for being here. Joshua Munn says, this day in general, movie and non-movie stuff in general is crazy newsworthy time. It is. We're seeing a lot of not just with Marvel, but with the industry in general, just we're kind of witnessing history because the entire industry is in the middle of a major shift because of technology, and we're all kind of watching it happen in real time. It's kind of interesting, but also very terrifying, especially if you're in the industry. But moving on, as I said, Scarlett Johansson. No, Scarlett Johansson, you do not want to be on her bad side. She will sue you in a heartbeat over anything. She sued Marvel. She sued Disney. Do you know how much gumption it takes to take on Disney as a solo actress? I mean, that was pretty impressive. But now Scarlett Johansson is taking legal action against an AI image generating app that used AI creations of her likeness and voice in an ad without her permission. Now, she's not even the first person this has happened to. Tom Hanks also said that this happened to him recently. There's been a number of others who have said that they've already started seeing like people try to use their likeness. We've even looked at, there's something called deepfake theater or something. It's on TikTok. They deepfake a lot of celebrities and have them like roam around in some like reality TV setting. It's actually pretty entertaining, but also terrifying because they look super, super real. And I know celebrities have to be like, okay, is anyone else going to look out for us? Like, is anyone going to stop someone from taking my image? Because right now, this technology is so new, there are no laws against this. So that's why we need people like Scarlett Johansson to sue so that we can get laws made. Because this obviously should be illegal, but there's no precedent for this. So that's why we kind of, all of this is so new. We need people like Scarlett to create laws, essentially. Gly says, The Flash was decent up until a certain point. I felt it was a movie that went under AI reshoots to make it seem like a better movie than it was. It wasn't just AI, it was so much other stuff. That movie was abysmal. It looked like a cartoon, like not even a good one, just like a really bad one. Nicholas says ScarJo is just as lethal as Black Widow. She really is. She will sue you into oblivion in a heartbeat if she thinks you wrong turn anyway. Like, never get on Scarlett Johansson's bad side at all. Oh, George, you think she needs to go away? Why? Oh, she's your favorite Asian Avenger. You know, she's my favorite tree Avenger, you know? But anyway, moving on. Apparently, Joe Biden, our president, he didn't get scared enough from AI until he saw the new Mission Impossible movie. I mean, this story is kind of ridiculous. If you've seen the new Mission Impossible movie, the villain in that movie is AI. They keep referring to it as the entity. I've seen the film, so just to give you a quick update on like how AI is used in the movie, the whole point is that AI has become conscious and it's kind of like taking over all of our screens, all of our computers, and it's kind of hard to track down and trace because, you know, it's just software. It can go anywhere. So that's kind of how AI is portrayed in that movie. So apparently Joe Biden saw this, and it finally dawned on him, oh my god, AI is dangerous. I mean, has he never seen Terminator? Has he seen, I don't know, has he seen iRobot? Has he seen any other sci-fi film? I don't know why it was Mission Impossible movie that made him get up and like do something, but okay. And in fact, he signed a whole like bill or whatever, not a bill, but I think it was a bill, I'm not sure. But he signed something just this past week about AI, trying to pass regulations to make sure AI is used safely. And apparently, according to him, Mission Impossible was the inspiration. So I guess thank you, Tom Cruise, for getting our president to do something, but it shouldn't have taken a Mission Impossible movie. I don't understand, but I guess this is sort of a positive. But anyway, TextForce says probably because Mission Impossible got close to the truth on how the government uses it. You know, you are right. It does. I will say that Mission Impossible shows a very realistic look at how AI could take over the world. It's not like, I guess it isn't like Terminator where you have like a literal like, you know, robot walking around with a gun. It's not like that. It's like, you know, AI is just software. But still, I guess maybe that's why he needed to see it done in a realistic way. I don't know. It's just, why was this movie that made him have the eureka moment? I don't know. Prince says, I know it's, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm just going to stick to this for now. Gly says, if I show Joe Biden the movie 2012, will he do something about climate change? We need to show him Don't Look Up. Maybe if we show him Don't Look Up, he'll do something about it. Caldonia says, the politics to entertainment pipeline at work. Yeah, that's true. But the reason I had to bring up all of this AI stuff is because according to the strikes, according to SAG specifically, it seems like the major holdup at the moment is AI. Because I think a lot of actors, because so many actors are already getting their likenesses stolen, this is a very, very heated debate and topic amongst the studios and SAG. So right now, SAG and the studios, they're still fighting. They're still hammering out a deal at the table. Supposedly, everything has gone well in negotiations up until they've gotten to this AI topic. So, this is why I've been saying since the very, very beginning, I always knew this AI subject was going to be the toughest part for them to agree on. Because the studios are not going to want to say no to AI ever, because it's kind of impossible for them to like never use AI in the first place. And B, the cost savings alone is going to keep them from saying no. But the SAG is obviously never going to let the studios purposely have AI take over a job forever. So this is always going to be something that was going to be contentious between the two. So I'm not surprised that they're still fighting over AI. This one talking point seems to be what's holding up the entire deal. They've been talking about AI for like the whole week, pretty much, just SAG. So I don't know what the studios are saying, but apparently they're still very far apart. Apparently, SAG says there are still I'm trying to speak today. There are still big issues to figure out with the studios. AI is still a major hurdle. Any rumors floating around that a deal is imminent, the issues are important and there's no agreement until we reach that point. So again, if we read between the lines here, it does kind of sound like just a bit concerning. Like they're trying to prepare everyone for the possible circumstance that they don't come to a deal just because of the AI stuff. So I don't know. They still could hammer everything out. We could still get a good deal by tomorrow. I don't know. But I just think that all of this just looks very suspicious, and I don't know where this is going. I don't know. I think this AI stuff could potentially derail the whole thing, but who knows? I'm still being optimistic. What do you guys think? Red Star says they should have you handle the AI versus writers conflict. I think you would solve it. It's 2 seconds. Aw, that's very kind of you, Red Star. How would I solve this? I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible to solve. I think, obviously you need to have a human write something. I think you're always going to need a human to like make the AI think outside of the box, because the AI is never going to do that. So if you want something creative and not formulaic, you're going to need a human to do something. I think writers are probably just going to be like using AI, probably forced to use AI eventually. But I hope they don't get completely replaced. MCU Unofficial says, yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute, MCU Unofficial. Nicholas says, I really wonder what the studios are saying to justify its AI thirst. I'm sure they're saying all sorts of despicable things. I mean, think about what they've said in public. I can't imagine what they're saying about people behind their backs. But continuing on, because of the strikes and how long they've already gone on, there's been a number of stuff that's been delayed. So The Penguin, which was a spin-off of The Batman, that was a show that was coming to Max. That's now been delayed. We've also got the It prequel series, Welcome to Derry. That's been delayed to 2025. But the only thing that hasn't been delayed is actually the Rachel Zegler-led Hunger Games movie, because Hunger Games is distributed by Lionsgate, and Lionsgate is not a part of the AMPTP, who everyone is striking against. So they got an agreement with SAG to actually let their actors promote the movie. So Rachel Zegler, Hunter Schafer, Viola Davis, Peter Dinklage, all of these people are actually going to be able to promote this film, which is a big difference because every other movie hasn't been able to do that. I think it's funny that it's Rachel Zegler that's going to get to do promotion. I wonder if she's going to be a lot more cautious about what she says now on. I hope she doesn't, say something else that gets people upset with her, but it's very possible. So there's one, I guess, good news for one movie, but there's still a lot of other delays. I'm sure there's other delays coming as well. 2024 is going to be very empty. It's looking to be super, super empty. Josh Loves Movie says The Hunger Games is the first blockbuster to get an agreement. That's a huge win for Lionsgate. It is a huge win for Lionsgate. I always feel like Lionsgate has been kind of underrated. Like they're just a small little studio, but they're like one of the only small studios that are able to like get a blockbuster out at least occasionally. That's actually pretty impressive considering their size. Yes, Olivia Rodrigo has a song with it, so she really is trying to follow in Taylor Swift's footsteps. It's funny. Cheetah Viper says, does anyone think Hunger Games will do good or bad in theaters? It's looking to open around 50 million, which is better than what I expected, but still low for the franchise. So I think it'll do around middling box office, to be honest. But good news for the Hunger Games. Now, bad news for Disney, because production workers in Walt Disney Animation have voted to unionize. Now, what does this mean? I've been telling you there has been like a slowly moving story, a slowly moving scandal happening where we were having like tons of visual effects workers from Marvel, from Disney, like just now it's specifically Disney Animation. They're all like voting to unionize together and become a part of IATSE, which is like the union that represents a lot of behind the scenes crew talent. And what the reason why they're trying to unionize is so that they can potentially strike next year. Now, maybe they won't have to strike. Maybe the studios and IATSE can come to a deal before a strike happens, but I kind of doubt it. I really think as time goes on, it's looking more and more likely that there's going to be another strike next year. I think IATSE is going to end up striking because with all of these visual effects workers trying to band together, and we've been talking about how terribly these visual effects workers have been treated. I mean, we talked about yesterday how the visual effects artists on Quantumania had to work 14-hour days. 14-hour days. And they're so fickle and they don't know what they want. They're still fixing visual effects even after things have been released. Like with WandaVision and She-Hulk, they were still fixing the visual effects even after things were released. And they're not the only ones. They did the same thing with Quantumania, No Way Home, probably almost every release they've done, and they just haven't told people. So the visual effects, I don't know what is going on at Marvel with visual effects, but their whole process is broken. It leads to overworked, burnt-out visual effects artists who aren't able to put forth their best work. So we get a lot of shoddy visual effects. And a lot of it ends up being late. Like, they're not even done by the time it's ready to be released. So I'm not surprised that the visual effects artists at Disney Animation want to unionize. I know this is different from Marvel, but I know Disney Animation has a lot of the same issues, which is why I think Disney as a company is the first to be dealing with this issue, is because it seems like Disney in general just treats visual effects workers pretty terribly. So this is very bad. Again, if they all demand more money, that would just make every movie at Disney immediately cost like a ton more. Like a ton, because they're so reliant on animation and visual effects. This would be a disaster for them, which is why I think the IATSE negotiations are inevitably leading towards a strike next year, because obviously the visual effects workers want better treatment, but the studios are not going to want to pay them more because that would derail probably all of the MCU, what's left of it by then. Text Force says Feige known to recruit, edit, and sound. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you actually look at like what visual effects artists have been saying, they blame Feige, they blamed Victoria Alonso, the executive that got fired. Like, they blamed the producers directly. Like, they name drop them and say like, no, it's these guys. They don't know what they're doing. They're always changing things last minute. Basically throwing them under the bus because everyone else always complains about the visual effects. Some person skywalking says She-Hulk looked goofy, especially She-Hulk and his son. Oh yeah, Hulk and his son. Oh yeah, Hulk's son just looked so bad, so cheesy. Who approved that look? That looked terrible, so bad. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, also, has anyone noticed that Disney only releases their films on November by each year? Yeah, Disney Animation always has a film come out for Thanksgiving. That's been a tradition for ages. That's nothing new. And the reason they do it is because usually they make a lot of money on Thanksgiving. I don't know if they're going to this year. Wish doesn't seem like it's going to be that huge. But we'll see. Maybe it could break out. I don't know. But I am going to keep updating you guys on what's happening with the unionization and all of this, because I really do think this is like a slowly moving strike waiting to happen next year. And if, just imagine, guys, say the SAG strike and everything is able to end soon and people can get back to production by January of next year. And then everyone can actually film stuff for only like a few months before IATSE strikes again. So the entire industry has to shut down again. I think that would be even more disruptive than if they were just like all striking at the same time. Because imagine if like Deadpool 3 has to go back to filming and then shut back down again. The cost on that film would soar, and there would be no way it could be profitable, and it would definitely flop. This is why I'm bringing this news to you, because if you actually like added it all up together, it just paints a very bleak picture for next year. Tegan and Holperoni says, I think Wish will do all right. It looks different. Well, they're projecting around, I think I saw 50 million. It's about like projecting around the same as Hunger Games. So I think for Wish, that's actually pretty good, especially for an original animation. I just don't know how much more it's going to get like beyond that. I think it's going to entirely depend on word of mouth. But we'll see. We'll see. But moving on now. Oh, we have a super chat from Nintendo Gamer, or Nintendo Gaming. Thank you so much for the super chat. Will you consider covering Robin Hood TV show since its similarities to Velma? I don't even know what this TV show is. I haven't heard of this Robin Hood TV show. Should I have heard of it? If it is similar to Velma, I don't think it's generating the same kind of hype, because I honestly have never heard of it. But thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll look it up after this stream. I hope it's at least better than Velma, or is it just like, or are you saying it's as bad as Velma? How is it similar? I don't know. But thank you for the super chat. But moving on to entertainment news. So Disney is kind of a mess. And by kinda, I mean it's a major mess. The fact that South Park just spent an entire special roasting them is a testament to how much of a mess they are. But something that they just did recently, Disney had to buy full control of Hulu. So they paid Comcast, who had the last remaining portion of Hulu, for $8.61 billion. Disney had to pay Comcast $8.61 billion so that they could fully own Hulu, because they were two companies that were owning it together. Now, this makes sense. Bob Iger has been talking a lot about how he thinks there's too many streaming services, and there are. In fact, I found this interesting article that said, on average, people spend about 10 minutes looking for something to watch when they're ready to do so. And there's 2.7 million distinct shows or movies potentially available. There is just way too much to be able to watch. And it's hurting everyone, because if your audience is stratified like across a million different shows, then every show is going to have lower viewership. So I get why he wants Hulu. I think Disney had to buy Hulu, but it makes sense for Disney to own it as well. I think what they'll end up doing is probably combine Disney Plus and Hulu in one app. I'm pretty sure that's his end goal, and they'll probably jack up the price of Disney Plus because of it. And if you want a cheaper tier, you'll probably have to deal with ads. I think that's their end goal with this. But the thing is, I thought Disney was broke. They keep saying they want to buy all this stuff. They just bought Hulu. I mean, eventually they're going to run out of money. Not run out completely, but like, I don't know. I thought they were broke. Where do they keep coming with all this money from? It is a lot of money, but honestly, that's kind of cheap for Hulu. I thought it would be more. I know, 1 million shows. Isn't this a crazy statistic? There's actually a number of crazy statistics in here. It says that Nielsen reports that 46% of U.S. consumers feel overwhelmed by the number of streaming services. 46%, that's nearly half. And I think that's actually probably underreported. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think streaming is, it's becoming a problem for the whole industry. There's way too many streaming services, obviously way too many shows and movies. No one can watch 2.7 million shows and movies. So that's crazy. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of consolidation and a lot of merging. We're going to be seeing lots of streaming apps combining. I think Disney and Hulu are going to combine. I think possibly we might see like Peacock and Max combine. We're going to see a lot of stuff combine. I think we're at the end of the day, and like maybe even just as soon as like 5 years from now, I could totally see a scenario where like we have like maybe 5 major apps, and that's because everything has been merged together. I think that's where this is all going. Nintendo Gaming says Robin Hood TV show is following hate-to-watch type like Velma, bad writing, miscasting. Oh, they miscast Robin Hood with African-American woman. It's a Canadian TV show. So they did rage bait by purposely race swapping to make people angry. Now that makes me angry. Because why did they have to go with the black woman to purposely get people angry at? Like, that's messed up for them. And for me. All of us. Like, what? I don't like that at all. If that's true, then F that show. Now I don't even want to support it. Not even for a hate watch. But thank you for the super chat, though. Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought Disney was broke, too, but apparently they have money for this. Joshua Munn says, I don't know about Peacock and Max. I don't know. Maybe. I just gave those two as an example. I don't know if those two specifically will merge, but I definitely think we'll be seeing more apps merge for sure. All right. Moving on, though, because I know you guys want to get to the Marvel stuff, so thank you for being patient. But I have to give you the full picture here. So, you guys heard me talk about yesterday that Marvel has recently had talks about bringing back the original cast for a new Avengers movie, which could include reviving Iron Man and Black Widow. But they haven't committed to the idea yet, supposedly according to the Variety article. Now, according to a lot of scoopers, this is apparently not just potentially true, but actually, we have RDJ has already agreed to come back. Robert Downey Jr. has apparently already agreed to come back. Now, again, take a lot of this with a grain of salt. We don't know. This could just be rumor. This could be false. This particular scooper has been wrong before. But a lot of times they're also right. So that's why I'm at least giving this the time of day. And Den of Nerds, I like, he's pretty reputable. I think he's gotten a lot of things right. He's been kind of throwing out a hint too. I just saw him tweet this where he's like, oh, watch this interview with Robert Downey Jr. where he's talking about he might return as Iron Man or the possibility of it. So I just feel like if he's also teasing this and hinting at it, and we've got My Time to Shine also teasing and hinting at it, I'm also thinking maybe, and we just got that article saying that Marvel's already thinking about it. I'm thinking there's actually some truth to this. And that's crazy to me. I would have really thought that Robert Downey Jr. would have just been totally done with Marvel and wanted to just, I mean, he went out on top. He went out as possibly the most influential, not just character, but really actor ever. The way he carried the MCU for over a decade, I don't think will ever be replicated. So he went out at his peak, at his prime. He didn't go out when people were tired of him. He went out when people still miss him, and they do. But I don't know why he would want to come back other than A, they gave him a ton of money, which is possible, or B, he's feeling very nostalgic and he's feeling very loyal to Marvel and he just wants to come back and save it, which would kind of be nice, but I implore him to think about his own legacy, because what if they mess it up? They might not, but what if they do? Do you want that stain on your reputation? You went out on your peak. Do you really want to mess that up? I don't know. I like I said, I have very mixed feelings about this. Ian says, I reckon we will be left with Max, Netflix, and Disney Plus, which in the UK is only 2 since there is no Max in the next year. Or at least there will be the only relevant ones. Yeah, I think there will be like maybe 5 relevant ones and that's it. I really think it's going to be just that few streaming services. Oh, that's cool, Amorex. Enjoy school. You should be learning, I guess. I don't know. Tex Forest says, or his other movies keep bombing. Well, he just had Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was a huge success. He's only been in like 2 movies, really, since then. He's been in that awful Doolittle movie, which I feel like he did that intentionally to bomb. Like, I swear he chose a movie he knew would flop just to take all the pressure off of him after he left Marvel. Because why on earth did he do that movie? But anyway, he's only done the Doolittle movie and Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer made almost $1 billion. So he could keep, making other hits that aren't Marvel. So I don't think that's it, to be honest. Nintendo Gaming, thank you so much. Do you prefer the original characters for DEI, LGBT shows like the Purge movies, Purge TV shows, or forced DEI with miscasting with white ethnicity and characters? Well, if you watch my Pandaverse reaction and review, I gave a whole disclaimer beforehand where I talked about why I feel Disney's very bad with representation and diversity. So if you want like a much longer detailed explanation to your answer, I recommend you go watch that. Just in short, I have no problem with diversity. I just think it needs to be done organically and to not race swap major characters that are already iconic and well known. That's the crux of it. But I want to keep to Marvel for now. But thank you for the super chat. Wanda Dawn Miller says, we need to raise money to buy Disney a soundproof booth. Oh, I'm so sorry. Are the chimes so loud? I can't help with the chimes. I'm so sorry. I told you the chimes, they're like every 15 minutes. It's annoying to me too. Ethan Vega says, I don't think he meant for Doolittle to flop. That sounds stupid. I know that was being facetious, but like, I just seemed like that movie seemed like obvious bomb written on it. Like, I don't know why he would have chosen it, to be honest. Stella says, I mean, every actor has ups and downs. It's all part of the showbiz roller coaster. True, but I still feel like Robert Downey Jr. is not really down. Like, again, he's coming off of Oppenheimer. He doesn't really need Marvel. But it's not just him. This is actually a much older rumor, but Chris Evans was also apparently supposed to be returning as Captain America too. Apparently he's also signed on. So it's looking very possible that both Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. could be returning. And I have mixed feelings. I truly believe that it's too soon. I always thought they were going to come back, but I thought they'd come back for Secret Wars, and that was going to be like 10 years after Endgame, and it was going to feel like super earned. If they bring them back only like 5 years later or something in like some little movie, I don't know. I feel like it's going to cheapen the ending of Endgame. And it's going to feel like Marvel's desperate and they're just going and reaching into their toy box and pulling up the popular characters again. Kind of like how Star Wars is doing. And we know how that's working out for them. Josh Loves Movie says, Chris Evans doesn't need to come back either. After Knives Out was a huge hit. Exactly. Chris Evans has had a hit. Well, he's had more flops, to be honest. He's doing a lot of streaming stuff now, and a lot of the streaming stuff he's doing is not good. I think he's afraid to do something in theaters because it might flop. But yeah, he did do the first Knives Out, and he was really good in that. They could do something else. They could have hits, possibly. I don't think they need to go back to Marvel just yet, is what I'm saying. Would you guys even want would you want Chris Evans to return? Do you want RDJ to return? I want to know what you guys think. Loretta says it would feel like a money grab. Yeah, it would. Unknown Adventurer says the cast of Marvel doesn't matter if the story quality is the same, in my opinion. True. That's why I'm like, I would implore RDJ to have second thoughts, because you went out. Your ending was practically perfect. If you come back and they mess up your story and they mess up your ending, that's going to be your new ending. That's going to be the new way you went out. Do you want to go out strong or you want to go out weak? If he's only coming back from one movie and not coming back to, like, be a part of an ongoing storyline, I think, honestly, I would question it. I would be very hesitant, because that's a lot riding on one movie to not tarnish your entire legacy, and it's so easy to do. So easy. Especially since Marvel's track record lately hasn't been very good. So, now I know this is just Twitter, and Twitter is not real life or anything, but I do think there are a lot of, like, hardcore Marvel fans that like a disproportionate number spend a lot of time on Twitter just because that's where Marvel fans, congregate, talk about theories and stuff like that. So I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's very interesting that when the news yesterday broke that they might be bringing back Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr., the news wasn't overwhelmingly positive. In fact, the news, by and large, was a lot of people were like saying what I was saying. Like, someone said this is the Star Warsification of the MCU. This person doesn't want it. Someone says they're cooked. Marvel wouldn't revive them. That would diminish their greatest achievements with Endgame. I'm not surprised the critical drinker's not for this. But the thing is, though, some people might be excited for it, but honestly, if you actually look at what people are saying about this news online, a good number of people are not into this. They're hesitant like I am. They're like, no, they ended perfectly, don't bring them back. And I bet you, Marvel's looking at this, and they're probably shocked by this reaction. They were probably thinking, oh yeah, everyone's going to be so happy to hear Tony's coming back. And that has just not been the reaction. Not at all. At least not, that has not been the majority reaction. I think the reaction's been pretty mixed, which I'm sure is shocking or maybe terrifying Marvel. Glide wants 2008 recession pop back. What is that about? Jubilee says this is all a bad idea. Yeah, it's feeling very desperate. Divine says this is the DC effect. Oof. Remember when we used to say Marvel was like the smart one and DC could do nothing right? And now they seem like they both can't do anything right? What sad days these are. What sad days. Okay, wait, what? Divine says this will flop so hard. Wait, what's gonna flop hard? We're not even talking about one specific movie right here. Bye, Armorex. Anyways, I just had to bring this up because I thought the reaction to this news was a lot more mixed than I was expecting. I thought more people would be like, oh yeah, Captain America, we're getting him back. And it's like, no, we don't. So I think that's probably very shocking for Marvel. Now, more shocking news. Apparently, they want Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine for the two leads in Avengers Secret Wars. Now, My Time to Shine is not the only one who I've seen say this. I've seen a number of other scoopers say this as well. So, again, it gives me a little bit of credence that this might be true, but still take it with a grain of salt. And I love these two. You guys heard me say yesterday, when I was a little kid, I wanted Tobey Maguire's web shooters because I loved Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man so much. I love these guys, okay? No hate to either of them. But should they be the leads of Secret Wars? How are they even going to lead up into a Secret Wars that makes this justified? Like, how is this not just going to feel very random? Is what I'm saying. Deadpool 3 is going to have to set up a lot, and I mean a lot, for any of this to make sense. Because it's starting to feel like they just chose the two most popular superheroes they could find that they own, and they put them together and made them the lead of this movie. Because that's what this kind of feels like to me. Am I being cynical? How do you guys feel about it? If you guys are like, oh no, you're wrong, this is going to be the best thing ever, you're just being hateful, tell me. But I'm like, how are they building up to this so this even feels earned? The reason why Endgame was so successful was because that payoff felt earned. It felt like 10 years of build up to that moment. This does not feel like even a year build up to this moment. This feels so random that it doesn't have the emotional weight that Endgame had. Nicholas. Josh Loves Movies says, this feels so desperate for Marvel. It does. A lot of what they've been announcing lately feels extremely desperate. And I love both of these gentlemen. I think they are iconic as their roles and will forever be remembered in pop culture history. I truly believe that. I still don't know if this is a good idea. Wait, Evil Connor wants it to be a rom-com? You know what? If it's a rom-com, I change my mind. Make it a rom-com and I'm there. But no. But anyway, but kind of, you know what? I would be the only one excited for it, but yes, I would see it. But they should not do it for business reasons. But anyway, Laura B says, I don't want it. It feels like fan fiction to have those two together. It does feel like fan fiction. This feels like, again, like what Star Wars is doing with their TV shows, where they've just got all their Star Wars action figures and they're like making them play together. This kind of feels like Marvel's taking their Marvel action figures and they're making them play together. That's not really storytelling, you know? Ryu thinks it's beyond desperate. Okay. Mauricio says, bring back Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I don't think Brie Larson even wants to stick around. I think Brie is done. Joshua Munn says, this is bad. Like, this is just one chat, to be fair, but the amount of people on the internet saying they aren't interested in RDJ, ScarJo, Chris Evans, Tobey Maguire, and Hugh Jackman all returning. Wow. Exactly, Joshua Munn. That's why I had to bring up this. Like, I know, again, this is all just, like, anecdotal evidence here. It's just Twitter. But they're literally, people are laughing at them. They're like, oh, guys, we might bring back Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. And people are laughing. Like that, I'm sure that is not the response they thought they were going to get. Like, I guarantee you they did not expect this. So that's why I had to bring that up, because you're right. Even the fact that you guys, and I know I have a lot. Oh my gosh, Shelly Lee. Shelly Lee just gifted 5 memberships. Shelly, you were always so kind and gracious. I genuinely appreciate it. You were so great. Wow, Shelly. Okay, Stella is now a member. Fod Fareed, you're a member. Sarah B, a member. Who else is a member did I miss? Arvin, you're a member. Red Star, you're a member. Okay, I think that's everyone. Thank you all for being members now, and thank you, Shelly Lee. Oh, Sarah B is also a member. Thank you all for being members, and you guys can now participate in the members-only posts on the community page. We are going to get to that in a second. Thank you, Shelly Lee, again, for always supporting the channel and gifting those memberships. You are incredible. I hope you guys enjoy being members, so thank you. But going back to what I was saying. Oh, God, what was I saying? Essentially, I just think this is going to feel very hollow and empty. Because, and I have, again, I just want to quickly go through this with you guys. This is everything Marvel has coming out within, like, the next couple of years, movies and shows. So you have Ms. Marvel, but look at everything that would be leading up to Secret Wars, and tell me how it makes sense to have Tobey Maguire be the lead of it. So you have Echo. That's going to be a flop. You have Ironheart. I combined flop and Ironheart. Ironheart, that's gonna flop. Agatha, okay, that has nothing to do with either Hugh Jackman or Tobey Maguire. Daredevil Born Again, really, again, nothing to do with it. Deadpool 3, okay, something relevant, finally. Captain America Brave New World, not really super relevant. Again, Thunderbolts, they might even cancel this, not super relevant. Blade, who, I doubt this movie is even gonna get made at this point. Not even relevant to begin with. Fantastic Four, not really relevant. Armor Wars, I mean, yeah, okay, relevant. Shang-Chi 2, not relevant. Spider-Man 4, obviously relevant. Only if they bring back Spider-Man, though. Only if they brought back Tobey, which I don't think they're going to do. And then we get to Kang Dynasty, which might not even happen, and then Secret Wars. But all of these movies and shows leading up to Secret Wars, how are we building up to a Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman team up based off of the movies and shows I just showed you? That makes no sense. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's going to be earned by the time we get to Secret Wars, because where's the build-up? It's just going to feel so random. Cheetah Viper is scared for Daredevil. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's a big yikes. Pop says, I'm hoping the Agatha show can do well only because it's related to WandaVision. Same here. Again, I've been saying for a while, it would be the funniest thing in the world, yet not totally surprising, if Agatha is the only other show that can be a hit for Marvel for like the foreseeable future, just because it's essentially WandaVision season 2. I feel like, genuinely, Agatha is like the only show that has any amount of interest in it. Not everyone's interested in Agatha, but I feel like a lot of Marvel's female fans, like Wanda fans, like, we're actually interested in Agatha. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't handle it. I'm gonna have to find something to block the sound. Webslinger says, every time my family watches Avengers movies, my mom keeps confusing Tom Holland with Michael J. Fox. Well, didn't Tom Holland say he modeled his performance off of Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future? Isn't that true? So, I think that makes sense. Glide says, to be honest, I almost feel like Marvel is too big for itself. The movies just don't do each other characters justice anymore. No, I feel like it's all about the world-ending event that no longer feels that world-ending, because if everything's a world-ending event, then nothing is. And it's not really about the characters anymore. Yeah, I definitely think it's a problem. Now, speaking of Deadpool 3, we do, again, take this with a grain of salt, but I'm seeing other scoopers say similar things. So, this is what the plot of Deadpool might be about. So, Deadpool 3 is about the TVA picking up the prime versions of each hero to create a multiversal army to fight the Kangs. And they picked Hugh Jackman's Wolverine to recruit, but he's not fully on board. That is what the movie is about. Now, this could be interesting. Now, they're saying prime versions of each superhero. The same scooper also said that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the prime Spider-Man. So, what I'm guessing here is they're going to pick, like, probably the most popular version of each hero and from each universe, and they're going to team them all up in the movie together to go fight Kang. That's what it sounds like this movie is about. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep the Kang element. I have a feeling they might rewrite around Kang, or maybe they won't, because of the whole Jonathan Majors situation. And again, in the same Variety article, they were mentioning how they were already considering moving away from Kang. So, again, I don't understand how Kang is supposed to be like the big bad of this if they're moving away from him. So they're probably going to have to do a lot of rewrites on Deadpool 3. Or else, they're just going to have to keep Kang and just recast him, which is possibly also going to happen. Because again, according to the same scooper, they're saying that, according to their sources, Doctor Doom is not replacing Kang. So, again, if that is true, then maybe they're just going to recast Kang and keep him? I mean, at this point, they have done too much with the character. It would be hard to just, like, totally get rid of him. And again, in the Variety article, according to whoever's seen the final Loki episode, it sets up Kang in such a way that he's so important to the future of, like, the next, couple of movies that they can't really rewrite around it. So, I guess between Loki and Deadpool 3 making Kang seem so important, I wonder if they feel like they can't really move away from him because they've tied him so deeply into this phase for whatever reason. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. But I honestly think they should just get rid of Kang. I hope they don't keep Kang and just recast him. I think they should move to Doctor Doom. But if they do keep Kang, the reason might be just because he's too much involved in what they've already got planned. Because if he's this much a part of Deadpool as well, I don't know. They might have to either rewrite Deadpool or they're probably just going to keep Kang and recast him. I don't know what they're going to do. That's why the article said they're effed, because it seems like they're effed no matter what they do here. Joshua Munn says, why is Kang in Deadpool 3 after the article yesterday saying he's getting replaced with Doctor Doom? I just explained that. I know, I trust Variety way more than this person, by the way. Way, way more. However, the only reason why I'm even entertaining the fact that maybe they could be possibly right instead is because, to me, that Variety article read like a press release disguised as a takedown. Like, okay. I feel like that Variety article, a lot of that was leaked from Marvel itself. Because a lot of that information was the same information that we kind of already knew. Like, it was a lot of it that was in that book we talked about that came out last week. A lot of it also deferred a lot of blame to other people that aren't Kevin Feige. So I again, maybe I'm putting my tinfoil hat on here. But I could totally, again, the fact that it came out in Variety, of all places, a major trade, kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Kevin Feige and co, they see the writing on the wall with what's happening with the Marvels. They know it's going to be a gigantic flop, like total embarrassment. And I think Kevin might have wanted to get ahead of the narrative by pointing the blame at some other people. And that could have been, or even to distract away from some other stuff, get fans excited about things, like maybe get excited about Doctor Doom. I don't know. I just feel like that article was a little shady. I don't totally buy that this was like not something leaked by Marvel itself to like portray a certain narrative, because like the article kind of seemed that way to me, to be honest. Does anyone else believe me? Do you think I'm putting my tinfoil hat on? Joshua Munn says, if it's a press release, then it adds even more credibility than some Twitter scoopers. Well, they could be lying. Studios lie all the time, something I've even seen. Hell, James Gunn lies all the freaking time. I've come to not even trust what James Gunn says, even on his own Twitter account. The Lord of Darkness says they've had a good track record, not just with Marvel stuff. True. Amorek says, also the hate for the Marvel's director is crazy. Like, yes, she left during post-production, but that's like a regular thing. The movie was finished, and she had other stuff to work on. As I said, Amorek, I honestly think the fact that Nia DaCosta left post-production, I think that says a lot more about Marvel than it does about her. I think that says that they probably took over and took the movie away from her, because why would she leave if she felt like she was actually needed? If she felt like she wasn't needed, that's probably why she left. So I think that says a lot more about Marvel. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. X-Men is somehow too old to be relevant and too recent to be nostalgic. Thank you. You just put into words what I've been trying to repeatedly say for weeks now, and why I think this movie is being slightly overestimated. Not overhyped, because I think it is exciting, and there are going to be a lot of exciting things in this movie. But I think it's being overestimated box office-wise. And that you just put into words why I think that way. X-Men is too old to be relevant and too recent to be nostalgic, because we have seen them a lot recently. They were in several movies in the 2010s. They're not like, again with Tobey Maguire, who we hadn't seen since Spider-Man 3. It's a different situation. But anyway, I think we'll see what happens with Deadpool 3. I think the whole situation is fascinating. We'll see what happens. Whatever happens with this movie will determine the future of the MCU, and probably the entire genre of superhero movies. I think it's going to be that dramatic, so I hope for their sake that it all goes exactly how everyone predicts, because oof, if it doesn't. Alright, anyway, moving on to now member questions. I wanted to ask you guys, so, since it seems like, I guess, Disney can't do anything right currently, they've got problems with Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, even their animation division. I asked you guys, what should Disney do? What kind of content, franchises, or media should they pivot to instead, since everything seems to be failing? And as always, I got some great comments. I love how much thought and detail you put into these comments. I really do. So M8 says, it's possible that Percy Jackson and the Olympians could be the next franchise to help save them, especially if the live action turns out to be really good. I hope Percy Jackson could do that for them, but I don't know. Everything we've seen from the marketing on that does not look good to me. I could be wrong. I and many others I know are excited for it because we're fans of the book. It already has a big fandom. Since the author was involved with the live-action adaptation, there's a lot of us fans staying hopeful that it will be good. We shall see. Also, more original animated movies. Wish is coming out this month, and I really want to see. it. I hope Wish does well. I'm cheering for that movie, as I've been telling you guys. I feel like it's Disney's one animated movie that has potential. I'm so sorry if you hear chimes. Welcome to my life. Yeah, I mean, I know you're really excited for Percy Jackson. I know it has its fans, but I don't know if that show is going to cross over and have, like, the wide appeal that say like Wednesday had, or Stranger Things. Like, Disney's trying to get their own Stranger Things. They want a show that reaches like a peak where everyone's talking about it, where it crosses over into the mainstream, not just within fans. And right now, I don't know if Percy Jackson's the show to do it, unfortunately. But I could be wrong. I mean, a lot of people keep telling me Percy Jackson just has an army of fans, so maybe I'm just totally wrong. But we'll see. Gly98 says, we need more behind-the-scenes content from Disney on YouTube or Disney+. Especially in regards to their writers and artists, I feel like as an audience, this should give us an insight into their choices and also highlight the strength of their creatives. And this would help the company engage with their fans during all the strikes. I fully agree with you, Gly. I actually made an argument a while back, some of you may remember, that I actually think how Disney Plus and a lot of other streaming services can get themselves out of their mess is by focusing more on user-generated content. I think that, like, imagine with Disney Plus, there's already, I mean, look at my channel. There's already, like, an entire section of YouTube just dedicated to YouTube, like, making videos about Disney and Disney-related content. And, you know, families that go to Disney World, they vlog about it and then they upload it to YouTube. What if Disney Plus had a section where instead of uploading your family vacation to Disney World to YouTube, you upload it to Disney Plus? Or after you see a Disney movie, you give your review on Disney Plus instead of YouTube. Obviously, it would have to be heavily moderated, and they probably wouldn't allow you to, like, say anything too mean. But it would allow, you know, very cheap content to be made because we would be making the content. And if they actually put ads on it, it would incentivize more people to actually come to the site because you could make money from making content for Disney Plus. And we could also help promote the stuff that they're making. Like, say for Loki, they could have had a whole section on the app where you have people who get to review the episode of Loki after they've seen it. Like, they can quickly upload their thoughts on the episode or whatever. Like, imagine how that would probably help raise engagement or raise excitement for your show if you allowed people to, like, directly comment on it on the app. I think they should do something like that. I really do. I think Hollywood in general needs to embrace user-generated content. That's my idea anyway. But thank you for the comment. T-Hop says, more traditional animation and practical sets / effects where possible, and news stories. Trusting an individual writer / director's visions, and actually less. How does this fit within the phase / universe thinking? Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying they should focus on... Oh my gosh, can you guys hear the children playing outside? Do you hear the children screaming? Let me know. Let me know. Because I hear it, and if it's too loud, I will close the window. I just had it open because it was hot in here, but if you guys hear stuff out loud, I will close the window. But going back to what I was saying, sorry, I just wanted to make sure you guys could hear that. Yes, Evil Connor, that's what I was saying. Basically live tweeting, but in the app. That's kind of what they should add. And you can add, like, video to it, like TikToks or whatever, but shorts. I feel like they should add that sort of element to every streaming service. Like, imagine if Netflix had that. Imagine if, like, when Wednesday aired, you could also see what your friends were saying about each episode after the episode. You just, like, scroll, you swipe over whatever, and you start scrolling and seeing what your friends said about the episode. But you're still on Netflix. Why don't they do that? Oh, you do hear them? Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay, well, I'm going to close my window. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. I just want it to not be hot. But anyway, it should be much better now. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, if only the woodpecker sighs on the tree. What is this about? I have no idea. I know that sounds like the whole world is outside my room. I know. I'm gonna have to find a way to, like, I don't know, I guess put something against my windows to soundproof it. I don't know. But anyway, that's off topic. How do you guys feel about my adding user-generated content idea to streaming services? Because I really do think that they should do that. Estelle says, absolutely agree with this. Fresh stories and individual creativity can bring magic to the screen. Yes, I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Well, anyway, going back to this. Okay. Let movies and characters stand on their own occasionally, which would also be a test for the quality of their writing. It really comes down to the quality of the writing. So much of the writing lately just is not good, not just with Disney, but in general. They've been putting more focus on the visuals and the visual effects. Not even the visuals, just the visual effects, because the visual effects go very muddy a lot of the time. They've just been focusing on, like, IP management more than the writing. And I think that it shows. And I think we need to get back to just focusing on making good scripts before we even start filming anything. Something that Marvel does. They actually don't even have a lock script when they start filming. And I think they really got to stop doing that. Chev on Jr. says they should make more franchises they've done before, like Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and Treasure Planet. We need more of those, and they just forgot them. You guys know I've been saying the only live-action Disney movie I would actually want is a live-action Atlantis, because that's something that would lend itself to a live-action version, because there's no weird animals. It's something that could be done live-action. I like Treasure Planet, okay, but I've always liked Atlantis more. But yeah, they should definitely do a live-action Atlantis. Could you imagine? And, like, they actually made it pretty and gorgeous and made it look like, I don't know, kind of like Avatar: The Way of Water, where it just looks like a tropical oasis. Like, it would be so immersive, so escapist. I think could be a really big hit. I really do. Evil Connor says the best Disney stories are about dreams coming true. Probably in the form of 2D animated musicals like we got during the Renaissance, or live-action teen flicks like the early Disney comms. Yes, Disney Channel. I think you're talking... Yeah, Disney Channel movies. The main character has to be relatable and willing to do anything to achieve their dreams. The dialogue has to be witty, and the stakes need to be high yet personal. Not that, OMG, the world is going to end if you don't get the magic cube to the right dimension. Yeah, Marvel's doing a lot of that stuff. But you're going to lose the man of your dreams and your freedom and be transformed into a shriveled seaweed monster enslaved by an evil sea witch type shit. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think something else that Disney is also doing is, especially with their kids, I feel like their animated movies in particularly they're too afraid to go and do and talk about anything like even remotely serious. Like, I feel like in fact, Sesame Street recently came out and said that for their next season they plan to move towards a more narrative driven structure. So they said they're going to do that because they said that kids actually want more serious topics, more they're capable of handling peril. That was the word they used. They want to actually, put their characters in a bit of peril because they said kids actually crave that and they understand it, and that's how they can get a better message out of it. So I kind of feel like Disney needs to do something similar, where right now they almost never have their characters in any actual peril because they don't want to scare the kids. They don't want to do anything that's like, gonna offend anyone or anything like that. But I really think they need to be a bit more sophisticated with their writing and do what like Sesame Street is doing. Kids can handle a bit of peril. They can handle more serious topics, not like nothing adult or anything. I'm just saying you can treat the storytelling with more seriousness. You can have the characters go through real troubles and still be something that's appropriate for kids. And I think Disney needs to have more storytelling that's a lot more... That's more like that is what I'm trying to say. I'm having a hard time wording this, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I think they should have a bit more like sophisticated writing is what I'm saying. Their characters can handle more than what they're given currently. Caledonia says, narrative peril, can't wait to see the Sesame Street. It still has to be for kids, obviously. Like, Sesame Street, it's not suddenly gonna not be for kids. It's just, they can handle more than just the sugary sweetness that Disney has been giving them. Goliath says, hear me out. Sesame Street is right, lol. Coco Melon is the epitome of bad children's TV. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, they're kids, not infants. The Lord of Darkness says, Frozen has always been fine, and I'm a 30-year-old. I think Frozen is, like, more for all ages. I really don't think that that is just for kids. Like, adults can like Frozen fine. Okay, you guys agree with me. That's great. That's great. I can't believe Frozen turns 10. Wait, is it this year or next year? I thought Frozen turned 10 next year. That's crazy. 10 years since Frozen. Unreal. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, fun fact, back in the day when the films released, they were going to make a TV series of Atlantis titled Team Atlantis, but it was shelved due to the film's poor box office. That sucks. I hate that the movie flopped, because I always wish there was a sequel. And I know there is a sequel, but it's not good and it's not with the same voice cast, so I don't count it. They should have done more with that. They really should have. But anyway, Amorix says, listen, kids love dark stuff. Yes, it scares them, but they still come back to watch it. Exactly. Cocomelon literally destroys brain cells. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But anyway, getting back to this. So, what was I going to say? Oh, right, I was here. But you're going to lose the man of your... Yeah, I already said that. And the music needs to be catchy. Oh my gosh, thank you for bringing up the music, Evil Connor. I've been listening to the little clips they've been giving for Wish, and the music is not giving. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. They even gave... There's a short clip out there of Chris Pine, who plays the villain in Wish. There's a clip out there of Chris Pine singing, and the song is just okay. I'm disappointed. It's like, for me, the music is too like light, and it's not catchy. It's not catchy, as you put it. I'm very disappointed in what I've heard from the music so far. Anything in the style of Howard Ashman, Alan Menken, Randy Newman, Cheetah Girls, HSM, Teen Beach. Oh, I love how we're obviously probably near the same age. Hot take, the dramatic ballads in Moana and Frozen, etc. feel self-righteous and are no fun. You know, I actually like the ballads in Frozen. I will be the one person who says I did not care for the How Far I'll Go song in Moana the first, 100 times I heard it. Now it's sort of grown on me. I kind of like it. But in general, I'm just not a fan of most of the music in Moana. I actually find Lin-Manuel's music not good most of the time. I just don't think I'm a fan of his style. Even Hamilton. I like a lot of songs in Hamilton, I do. But there's still a lot of songs in there that I'm like, eh. I feel like his style fits Hamilton so well that when he tries to put it in other stuff, I'm like, ah. Like Encanto, people love... Okay, I love... We Don't Talk About Bruno. That one's a bop. But the other songs, I didn't even like the other songs in Encanto. I'm just not into Lin-Manuel Miranda's work. It's not for me. So I kind of agree with you there. Make me laugh, cry, dance. Make me laugh, cry, dance in my chair, and want to fall in love. Yes, make me feel emotions, essentially. What you just said is just make me feel something. I feel like Disney is not really pulling the strings that they should. Like, Pixar will still go for the heartstrings. They always do that. But there's more to it than just, add a tearjerker scene. Like, I feel like most of the time when I watch a Disney movie now, I'm just kind of numb. Like, I'm just like, it's okay. Like, again, I know I keep pointing it out, but the Haunted Mansion movie. It's just quintessential modern Disney, that film is. Everything, just a list of things wrong with that film. It was just like, it wasn't bad. Wasn't great. It was just how most of their movies are. But thank you for the comment, Evil Connor. Alexander Padilla says, hey Brittany, what Disney should do is monitor the creatives. Is the most simple answer, they're giving too much freedom and not overseeing the dailies, and the projects are turning out completely garbage. And they should monitor the budget and tell the creatives, for example, you're going to get $100 million, and that's no lore. As always, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Alexander. Yeah, I think the fact that they admitted the new Blade movie is going to be less than $100 million means that I think Marvel knows they're going to have to cut their budgets. I think most of their movies are probably going to be less than $100 million now, just because I don't think they have any guaranteed hit other than the next Spider-Man movie coming up. So I think just for self-preservation, they need to keep their budgets low. It's crazy that their budgets are as high as they are. Like, the fact that the Marvel's budget is like $270 million is ridiculous. Why did they spend that much on that movie? That's crazy. That's crazy. They can't do that. They can't keep doing that. They won't even make the money back. They can't. And yes, they should monitor the creatives. I agree giving creatives freedom is important. But I think I saw something I heard, I think it was Grace Randolph mention, was that Nia DaCosta, she apparently gave a lot of Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel's fight scenes. And I feel like that is a decision that a creative should not have been able to make. Like, why? I understand why she did it, and obviously she was probably just wanting to promote black female superhero, which is great. Obviously, I love black female superheroes. But the Marvel should have been Captain Marvel too, not about Monica Rambeau. It makes no sense from a business point. So, I don't know. They should not be allowing creatives to make decisions like that, in my opinion. How are you guys feeling, though? Joshua Munn says, I've noticed Disney, they in their trailers and in the movies like Moana, How Far I'll Go was clearly supposed to be the big song in the film. Like For the First Time in Forever was supposed to be. Yes, For How Far I'll Go was supposed to be the Let It Go of Moana. I don't think it got as big, but people still really like that song. I still think it's one of Disney's hits. It's not as big as, Let It Go, but it's still a pretty big hit. Walter Thomas, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you guys are so great. Thank you so much for the super chat. After the Disney Comcast Hulu deal goes through, will Comcast pull its streaming content from Hulu as Comcast has its own streaming service? That would be smart, but I don't know. Because here's the thing about streaming. What Sony's doing right now, Sony doesn't have its own streaming service. What Sony's doing is they're licensing out a lot of their movies and shows to Netflix and other streaming services, and they're making a killing doing that. So Comcast, yeah, they have Peacock, but they could also be making more money just by leasing their stuff to Disney, because then Disney would have to be paying Comcast even more money. So they might take their stuff off of Hulu, but it might actually be smarter just to keep it on. So I don't know. We'll see. Thank you for the super chat, though. Going back to this, the legendary movie critic says, I think Disney needs to get new CEOs and new writers and new directors for Marvel, Lucasfilm, 20th Century Fox, Searchlight Pictures, Pixar, and Walt Disney Animation, and Disney needs a new CEO. Oh my god. I love how, Josh, you were like, let me just list all the things Disney owns, because they all need to change. Like, you were just like, let me make sure I hit everything. And they need a new CEO. Yes, they do. When Bob Iger leaves, that will save the company. That's what I've been saying. I really think when he replaced Bob Chapek, I was like, oh yeah, Bob Iger's back. He's going to be great. But honestly, he's the one that started all these issues to begin with. He really did. I think he was the last person to come in and save the day. I think he's only going to make it worse. And so far he has. So, yeah, I think they need a CEO. I don't know who's going to be the new CEO, but they need a new one. What else? Focus less on sequels and less on live-action remakes and more on original ideas, and build brand new franchises and create new worlds that bring back the magic of this studio. So, in other words, Josh, you're saying that they need to create original movies that don't pander? That's another South Park episode reference. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to make more original movies. They've already greenlit freaking Toy Story 5. I genuinely believe, just like I feel very strongly, and I'll be on my island, I don't care. I will prove you guys right. I feel very strongly Deadpool 3 is not going to make $1 billion. I feel just as strongly Toy Story 5 is also not going to make $1 billion because it's got too many people pissed off and people wanted it over at 3, but then they made 4, and a lot of people don't even like 4. So I stand by that as well. But they have so many sequels coming out. Unfortunately, they're not sticking with originals, even though they should. But I totally agree with what you're saying, though. They need to bring back the magic, for sure. The magic is completely gone from Disney, unfortunately. Nobody that you know says, I'm surprised to see Across the Spider-Verse on Netflix. They rarely put new movies on their platform. Well, it's a Sony movie. I was just saying that Sony has a deal with Netflix to license a lot of their movies to them, so that's why Netflix got it. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, also, I feel like Halle Bailey's song For the First Time was supposed to be the original song titled until someone must have made it similar to Anna's song from Frozen. Um, oh, you're saying it sounds like For the First Time in Forever? No, this song was made way after that one. Holly Bailey's song in the original live action, not the original, but the live action Little Mermaid movie, it actually grew on me. It's an okay song. I still feel like a lot of the new songs in that movie weren't good, especially the Scuttlebutt. Okay, you agree with me. Thank you. Thank you, some person skywalking. Toy Story 5 is going to... okay, I don't think it's going to flop. I think it's going to underperform. I think there's a difference between underperforming and flopping. And I think there's a difference between flopping and bombing. But I think it's going to underperform, not flop. But still, I think an underperformance for Toy Story will be considered a flop. So we'll see. Rodney Dollar says, looks like Frozen 3 might not be great either then. I actually think Frozen 3 could be a billion-dollar movie, just because Frozen itself is so big. I know not everyone liked the sequel, myself included. But I still think Frozen as a brand is strong enough. I think Frozen 3 will be fine. It might make less than Frozen 2, but I still think it'll make $1 billion. Joshua Munn says, well, why did Toy Story 4 make $1 billion if everyone hated it so much? Because everyone likes Toy Story, and everyone liked Toy Story 3. Toy Story 4 did so well because of the strength of the first 3 movies. That's why. So, just like we agreed yesterday that Multiverse of Madness did so well because of the strength of No Way Home. It's the same kind of principle. But they're not coming off of strength anymore. They're coming off of the 4th one. So, that's why I think there's a difference. Josh Loves Movie says, Zootopia 2 is most likely going to be Disney's next hit. Yeah, I think Zootopia 2 is definitely going to be a hit. I think Zootopia 2 is for sure. If there's a safe $1 billion hit for them in the future, Zootopia 2. That's going to make $1 billion. For sure. That is like my only guaranteed $1 billion hit for them. Zootopia 2. Amarek says the kids who grew up with the original Frozen will be adults by the time the Frozen 3 comes out. Yeah, at Frozen 3 as well. I would say Frozen 3 and Zootopia 2. I really think they're both locked for $1 billion. But even more so Zootopia. I really think that's going to do well. But anyway, moving on. Riaru says, at this point, it just seems like they plan on buying everyone out to make money either way. True, they keep buying everything. I guess you don't have to worry about quality of your own, if you don't have to worry about all... Okay, I get what you're saying. You don't have to worry about quality if you own all the quality. I miss old Disney, but they aren't good with nostalgia either. They should do more focus groups and watch channels like yours to touch base with their audience. Oh, that's so kind. Focus on quality and new ideas. Originality and unpredictability would be nice. Unpredictability? I don't think I've watched a single unpredictable Disney movie in 10 years. I mean, every movie they've put out. I mean, even the ones that I really like. They're never unpredictable. I don't think I've been surprised by a twist in a Disney movie. Probably since the first Frozen movie, when you had Hans. That twist. I don't think there's been anything unpredictable or surprising for a while, unfortunately. That's kind of the problem. You kind of know everything that's coming in a Disney movie because they're all so formulaic. But thank you for the comment, though. Rio Lynn says, honestly, Disney should take a page from anime and other films like Spider-Verse in terms of animation and style and storytelling. They should invest more into other IP they have like Kingdom Hearts. Turn that to a show, please. I think a Kingdom Hearts show would be their Stranger Things level hit. If they do it well, they have to do it well. I always have to do that caveat because we can't guarantee they will do it well. But if they do it well and they do it right, yeah, I think that could be their Stranger Things level hit for sure. The executive board needs a shakeup. Iger needs to go. Yep, Kathleen Kennedy at a minimum. The fact that Kathleen Kennedy is still there is baffling. But they need some executives that actually give a rat's ass about the quality of their products and services. This includes all of the theme parks and the treatment of the frontline workers of the parks. Man, the state of the parks right now is so sad. I told you guys I used to work at Epcot, and the state of Epcot right now is just it's so sad. It's a shell of its former self. I really wish they would put more money back into the parks. They need them. They really do. And the parks actually give them the most money. They make most of their money from the parks, so I don't know why they don't invest more in them. It makes no sense to me. This includes all the theme. Okay, we said that. They need to focus on getting productions right first time. Emphasize getting a solid team of writers and showrunners. They have to work with the visual effects workers and contracts better and not rush them out. Pirates at World's End was a start of this, which is a shame. Oh, I didn't know that. Did Pirates start this mess? I'm not surprised, because Pirates 3 had a lot of CGI in it. I'm not surprised. Come to think of it, I kind of remember, if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't the third Pirates movie kind of one of the first big blockbusters to have that much CGI? Wasn't that kind of like the appeal of it? It was like, oh, see all this crazy stuff, and like it had like really good CGI for the time. Wasn't that part of the appeal of that one? This was a while ago now, but I remember that there was a lot of like CGI stuff in that, and that was kind of like a big deal at the time, because this was like still like 2010 or earlier than that. I don't know. This was a while ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts would translate well into a show. It really would. Okay, so I am right. Good. So, and finally, they need to reevaluate their finances and how they allocate the money. Disney, at the end of the day, needs a lot of plastic surgery to fix itself if they want further success, because even if Apple buys them, these problems will stick around. True, even if and when Apple buys them, because I think it's inevitable. I think the stink around Disney and Disney's reputation is going to follow them, so they kind of still need to fix their reputation first, unfortunately. And they can only do that with making better movies that don't piss off their audience. That's really all they have to do. Let's see if they can do it. But thank you for being a member, Reelin. The CoverGirl official says they need to focus on quality over quantity and get a new CEO. I think we all agree, not Robert Downey Jr., we all agree that Bob Iger needs to go. He really is, I think, the focal point of all of these problems. Everything you can even imagine going wrong with Disney right now goes back to Bob Iger. It really does. Red Star says, they will always be confusing to me that millionaire will not use their money to make people happy. That would bring them more money. I know. Rich people will always be unhappy that they're not richer, which is crazy. Yes, Avatar was obviously like the big one that was like, oh yeah, this is all CGI. But I remember Pirates 3. That one also had like a lot of hype for similar reasons. Oh, nobody that you know says it didn't look uncanny, so people enjoyed it. Maybe it was just the first big movie to have that much CGI that didn't look bad. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'm just misremembering it. I don't know. Going back to this, Joshua Munn says, Disney just bought Hulu. They originally wanted to buy Netflix. The next thing they're going to do is have a bidding war with Comcast over Warner Brothers. Don't believe Grace Randolph when she says Disney gave Comcast money to buy Warner Brothers. Why would they do that? And $9 billion isn't enough to do that. Iger, according to CNBC, wants Warner hints. CNBC wants Warner hints all of the Marvel DC crossover teases and movies like Chip and Dale having Batman in it, which Chip and Dale was made as a testing ground to see if audiences would like an official sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit after Disney gets Warner out from under Comcast like they did with Fox. Much like J.J. Abrams' Star Trek was a linchpin to set up J.J. Abrams' Star Wars, later made by Disney. Oh, this is a lot. Okay, we gotta break down this comment, Josh. I love how knowledgeable you are about this subject, though. This is great. So, first thing you said Disney gave Comcast money to buy Warner Brothers. This is why I actually made that comment earlier where I said Peacock and Max can merge. I think because I had this comment, because I read this beforehand, I had this comment in my head. I don't know if Comcast and Warner Brothers are actually going to merge. I just know that a lot of these studios are probably going to merge because they kind of need to. They need the scale. In a world where everything is so hyper stratified and there's, audiences are just diversified over so many different projects, you kind of need scale. So that's why I think these mergers are definitely going to happen. Maybe it'll be Warner and Comcast. I don't know. Could be. I have no idea. Wouldn't it be crazy if Warner Brothers was bought again? Again? After they were just bought by Discovery, and then before they were bought by the freaking telephone company, AT&T. Like, could you imagine? If they were bought again. I mean, that's probably going to happen. In fact, I'm pretty sure David Zaslav is like gearing up to sell the company again. But a third time within like less than 10 years? Man, poor Warner Brothers. Poor Warner Brothers. But it's probably going to happen again. It's probably going to happen. Oh, your class got canceled. Okay. Well, now you can stay. Jessica Rabbit is iconic. I actually think a Jessica Rabbit movie, if they did it again in 2023 or 2024, I actually think that could be a hit. If they do it right, they get like relevant characters kids today know. I actually think that could be a hit, especially because it would get like kids with the cartoons, but it would get like adults with, you know, the nostalgia. I actually think they should do it another Roger Rabbit, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know about this Chip and Dale adding Batman. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're just slowly gearing up for that awful DC versus Marvel thing that you guys keep teasing. I don't want everything to cross over. We need some boundaries here. Where else? Where did I leave? So that'll be the next franchises Disney gets their hands on. All the Warner stuff. God, I don't want this. I see what you're saying, Joshua, but I don't want this. I don't want Disney to own everything. I don't want there to be some Marvel DC crossover. I don't want Disney to own Warner stuff. Can you imagine a Disney Batman movie? Do you want that? I don't think the world needs that. So, no. I disagree. I hope this isn't the case or the future, because that would be awful, Joshua. I genuinely think that would be awful. But thank you for commenting, and thank you for being a member. Josh Loves Movies says, Universal and Paramount are doing great. They don't need to merge with other studios, especially ones with horrible reputations like Warner Brothers. Is Paramount doing great? I don't think it is. They had an awful year this year with Mission Impossible and others. Paramount has been struggling for a while. They had Top Gun Maverick, which was nice for them, but other than that, Paramount has been like trying to get sold for ages. So, honestly, I disagree with you, Josh. I think Paramount especially is definitely going to get sold and merge with someone. I think Paramount's days are numbered. Maybe Universal can stick it out. I don't know. Universal does also have theme parks. But Paramount, no. Paramount's days are numbered. I will refresh the page. Joshua Munn. So Bob Iger, he actually wanted to merge with merging Warner Brothers and Disney back in 2016. And the only reason it didn't happen was because of the AT&T getting to Warner Brothers first. What? Bob Iger wanted to merge Warner Brothers and Disney back in 2016? That's awful. You know, Bob Iger also wanted to buy Twitter at one point. So this dude is definitely not infallible, because that was also a dumb decision. And he almost came close to doing it. So, you know, that was also a bad decision. Disney should not own Warner Brothers. Because could you imagine if Disney actually did own DC? Would you want to see a Disney-fied DC universe? Do you want to see a Disney Batman? A Disney Joker? A Disney Harley Quinn? This sounds like a terrible idea. I just don't think, like, the brands... Okay. So, it seemed like something happened with the stream just quick. I don't know what happened, but everything should be good now. Sorry about that. But getting back to this... Shelly Lee says, damn it, we just got RDJ back, no take backsies. And while I'm on the subject, may we please have Ryan Coogler back? If they do a Black Panther 3, and I think even that's an if, because I think there's so much happening with Marvel right now, they're probably willing to even cancel that, if it means, you know, rebooting sooner. If we do get a Black Panther 3, I think that Ryan Coogler has to come back. He has to, even though I know the second Black Panther movie didn't do as well as the first. I don't think that's his fault. I think he did the best that he could do with the second. And if they kept freaking Peyton Reed on the Ant-Man movies, and the only good one is the first one, then they can keep Ryan Coogler, who is a much better director. So, yeah, they should definitely keep him around. Cheetah Viper says, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars are all still viable if changes are made. Make less Marvel movies each year and only have 2 shows on Disney+. I think even, like, 2 movies and 2 shows is too much. Honestly, I think they should just stop making shows. They should make the shows, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff they've been doing, but even do more of that, like, actually have the actors vlog. Like, okay, Imagine, again, going back to, because I've been telling you guys how I think younger generations really, really like and prefer the style of YouTube videos and online content over Hollywood scripted stuff. What if, instead of making like Disney Plus shows that are super expensive and multiple hundreds of millions of dollars, what if instead they just made their actors vlog their experience on set and they released that instead? Like say for Deadpool 3. Like, what if in, like, with Deadpool 3's release, they also released, like, a weekly series on Disney Plus where you saw Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds vlog their experience on set, and you actually felt like you got to watch them make the movie and see, like, the, you know, the running gags and stuff. Not the... Marvel currently has their own, like, in the makings of series that they do, but I think that's too overproduced. I'm talking about, like, scaled back, like, give Ryan Reynolds a GoPro or a cell phone and, like, make him make something and then turn it into, like, a professional product in the end. That would be so much cheaper, and I guarantee you, it would get so much more viewership than whatever Loki's getting right now. I guarantee you. Do you guys agree with me? Do you agree with me? Java Pedro says there needs to be competition. Movies would be only getting worse if they buy Warner Brothers. Yeah, I agree. Why would Disney feel incentivized to make their movies good if they own everything? But getting back to this. John Mua says, in general terms, Disney needs to stop injecting political objectives into their movies and TV shows. When it comes to Star Wars, Disney should bring back George Lucas and let him make the sequel trilogy that he intended to make, and designate the existing trilogy as fan fiction. I think, unfortunately, because of Carrie Fisher's passing, I think it's too late to do a sequel trilogy. What I think they should do instead is, I'm actually warming up to the idea that Disney just needs to reboot the entire thing. Like, get a good director, like a really good, talented director, like someone on the caliber of, like, a Denis Villeneuve, okay? Like, maybe even get Denis Villeneuve, if you can. Get someone really, really good to completely reboot and remake Star Wars. Same Skywalker cast, same, Luke, Leia, Han, all of them, but with different actors. I think Star Wars is so dead. There's no way to continue even in the future. I think they have to go back and just reboot just to get interest again. But they need to hire someone that knows what they're doing and that the audience trusts, because right now there's no trust in Star Wars. So they need to get a name that people trust. That's what I would do. What do you guys think about that? Oh, didn't read the rest of yours, Cheetah Viper? What did I skip? Oh, I did. Sorry about that. Get back to great storytelling over all that a general audience would like to see. Get back to 2D animation with a villain who likes to be bad. Oh, I miss 2D animation. 2D animation is great. Star Wars needs to get rid of KK. This whole female forces female thing isn't working. Work with Square Enix on new KH titles. Kingdom Hearts titles with new Final Fantasy characters. Since Disney now has access to the Hulu library, they could try to get into horror. Well, I'm sure they're definitely trying to get into horror. I think the whole Haunted Mansion movie was their attempt at horror. I just think that Disney can't do horror because they're afraid of getting into anything too deep and dark and, actually serious or sophisticated, which is going back to my whole point that I was making earlier. So yeah, I think Disney just needs to fix their storytelling. I think even if they did try to have, like, at least one 2D animated movie, I think millennials, Disney adults, would be so nostalgic for it. We would probably, like, show up in droves just because it is 2D animation, so I actually think it would make money. Especially if it was a 2D animated Disney princess movie that was, like, supposed to be something that could have came out of the Disney Renaissance era. Honestly, that's what they should do. They should have, like, a super retro, throwback, 2D animated Disney princess musical with, like, really good music. Like, get the people who did Greatest Showman and like write a really good Disney animated musical that's 2D, I think that movie would actually make a lot of money and get good writers. I think that would actually make a lot of money. But I think I got everyone. Let me refresh. Let me see. Did I miss someone? Sorry, I missed the rest of your comment. Oh, there we go. Okay. Stella says, it's important for... Okay, is it Stella? Am I saying it right? Please let me know in the chat. It's important for Disney to access the market and audience preferences. They might consider exploring new original content, investing in emerging technologies like augmented reality or virtual reality experiences. Oh, they are doing that. That's why Bob Iger was at the Vision Pro Quest announcement thing for Apple. They are trying to get into augmented reality and virtual reality. And I actually think they could have success in that in the future once like the technology actually gets better. But they are trying to, lean into emerging technologies, which is a good thing, I think. Or even seeking collaborations with up-and-coming creators or studios. Additionally, they could focus on diversifying their content portfolio to appeal to a broader audience. Yes, they definitely need to do that. I feel like a lot of their movies are appealing only to, like, one specific demographic at this point. Adapting to changing trends and embracing innovative storytelling formats could be crucial in navigating the challenges they're facing. Yeah, again, agree to all of that, fully. And I think they are trying to adapt to changing trends. That's why they're trying to lean into the augmented reality thing. That's why they're leaning into AI. I think the conversion of that is going to be interesting, like 10 years from now, but that's a whole different story. Yeah, I think Disney is trying. To be fair, I know we do a lot of hating on Disney on this channel, but I do think they're trying. I just think that they suck at it. And to be fair, there's a lot of, overarching problems and headwinds that they have to deal with that the entire industry is dealing with. So it's not all on them, but you have to admit a lot of their issues are self-caused. So just have to point that out. Anything else that I missed? Anything that I missed? Did I say Arvin? Okay. Arvin says, I personally really need mean, dark, and cruel stuff. Things about villains, maybe a villainverse. That villains are the main character and their wicked wish wins over the happily ever after, for example, an Ursula spin-off, or Jafar, or even original villains that are actually mean and not mistook for, not misunderstood. Make it a musical. For the record, I'm so excited for the King and Wish animation. The song was okay. Yeah, the song was okay, as I just said. I was really disappointed that the villain song wasn't more villainous. Like, it was so upbeat and poppy. I was like, what is this 5 minutes craft beat? But it's okay. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. We're definitely on the same page that they need to do more, like, hey, the kids, you don't have to you don't have to scare the kids. You don't have to scar them. But they can handle more than what Disney's giving them. They're going too light on consequences. I think that's what we're trying to say, Arvin. There are no real consequences for any characters because Disney doesn't want to go too serious, have anyone actually be in any danger. And I think it's leading to very weak storytelling that makes their movies kind of mid because they're too afraid to go there. And I think they should. I mean, look at freaking Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's a Disney movie. And they definitely went there with that one. Or even if you want to go with, Aladdin. Even Aladdin has some, more darker elements to it that I feel like Disney would be too afraid to even touch now. So, I think that they need to stop being pussies, is what I'm saying. And give us some real stories, Give us some stories with some meat to it. That's really all they need. Nicholas Wilson says, honestly, I think they need to scale back and not just keep regurgitating the same stories. Focus on quality, not quantity. Yes, they keep doing the same stories. I am so sick and tired of the generational trauma storyline. Oh my god, they need to retire that for 10 years. I don't want to see it again in any of their movies. I'm sick of it. Yeah, they definitely, that storyline, that trope overstayed its welcome for a decade. But anyway, thank you all for the comments. I think that was everything here. These were all very good comments. I really appreciated it. If you want to be a member, just press the join button at the bottom of the screen. As always, thank you all for being members. And that was it. So, Just going to the main shot here. We will have the show as usual tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I had to leave off a lot of news stories. Like, I have so many other things I wanted to talk about today, but I realized that the show was already going to be long. The fact that it's already been like an hour and 45 minutes is insane. That's insane. That's like actually insane. I don't understand how it's been an hour and 45 minutes. The show used to be like a tight hour. We used to actually be like 50 minutes, and then I needed 10 minutes extra to like talk about something. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, the show is longer now, I guess. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm actually working on editing out a segment, adding more stuff to it from the Pandaverse special. So anyone who didn't see the full 1 hour and 30-minute video, I will have like a condensed version coming out tomorrow. So look forward to that. I am going to be cutting out more segments from the live streams too, because these are getting so long. So look forward to that. But yes, that's all I wanted to add. Anything else before I go? I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1. No, we're not going another hour and 45, Joshua, but I'm glad that you're enjoying this. I'm glad it feels like time flew by. Time flew by for me too. Honestly, I don't know how it went this long. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1. This has been great, and I'll see you